And hi everyone, and welcome to this video. And I wanted to talk about the Crossroads League and just how competitive it is this year. And of course, I'm a big lover of basketball. I enjoy basketball and enjoy watching the Crossroads League, so that's why I wanted to record this video. And I have my iPad in front of me to share with you some statistics this year, also run down the current league standings. And we're going to do this video talking about the women's basketball in the Crossroads League. There are 10 teams in the Crossroads League, and if you're brand new to maybe not just basketball, but brand new to the Crossroads League is 10 schools located across Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. Primarily, all the schools are in Indiana, except the fact of Spring Arbor up in Michigan and Mount Vernon Nazarene located here in Ohio. And of course, I'm going to be recording these videos. I don't know how often I will be recording them, but in the next video I will be talking about the men's side of the Crossroads League in terms of the men's basketball in the Crossroads League. So you definitely hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed today's content and would be interested in me doing these videos more frequently, or even and maybe even weekly, as the Crossroads League second half of this season gets further underway, and this is the 2024/2025 season. So without further ado, let's dive in. I wanted to talk first about the points per game in terms of the leaders across the Crossroads League, and the first one being the Crossroads League leader in points scored per game is redshirt sophomore Teresa Maggio of Mount Vernon Nazarene. Maggio is a redshirt sophomore from Lafayette, Indiana, transferred from NCAA Division I Tarleton State University out of Texas. And Maggio, she is just playing outstanding. She is averaging 20.7 points per game, which is really, really good. And right behind her, Abby McNally of Marian University with 19.9 points per game. Right behind her in third place, Alana Nelson out of Spring Arbor University, 19.8 points a game. And right behind her is Lily Frazier of Indiana Wesleyan University with 19.3 points per game. And right behind her, Morgan Houck out of Grace College in Winona Lake, Indiana, with 17.9 points per game. And then for the rest of the top 25 leaders in points per game outside of those five, in sixth place is Zion Neat out of Goshen College. She is a transfer from Columbia University. In seventh place is Peyton Murphy out of Grace College in Indiana. Peyton Murphy is a senior. And then in number 8 on the list is Gabby Melby of Huntington University. Melby is a senior, and she is playing absolutely outstanding for Huntington this year. And man, I'm so happy about that. And I'm happy for all these players, to be honest, because this is very, very well deserved for all of these players on this top 25 list. The number 9 position is a tie, 9 and 10th, going to Callie Gregory, a freshman from University of St. Francis in Indiana. And also tied is Bailey Kellum out of Huntington University. Bailey Kellum is a sophomore guard that plays for HU. And then in 11th place, Serenity Johnson from Mount Vernon Nazarene. Right behind her, Taylor Folkema in 12th from Indiana Wesleyan University. Right behind her, Taylor Double of Marian University. And behind her in 14th is Ava Henson out of Taylor University in Upland, Indiana. Right behind her, Chloe McKnight out of University of St. Francis is 15th. Olivia Raby is 16th from Huntington University. Number 17 on the list, Olivia Nickerson from Bethel University out of Mishawaka, Indiana. Number 18 on the list is Whitney Warfel out of Taylor University. Number 19, Megan Zeitz out of Spring Arbor University in Michigan. Number 20, Cassidy Crawford, a sixth-year graduate student from University of St. Francis. Crawford was hurt all of last year, so she's coming back and playing one final time for her COVID year of eligibility this year. Number 21 on the list is Emma Smyska I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, out of Spring Arbor University in Michigan. Number 22, Cyan Mohammed out of Goshen College in Indiana. And right behind her, one of her teammates, also out of Goshen College, number 23 on the list, Ava Licklider, who is from Dayton, Ohio, a transfer from Wheeling University. Number 24 on the list, Kylie McNally, the sister of Abby McNally, from Marion University in Indiana. And rounding out the top 25, Angela Roshak, a junior center from North Canton, Ohio, and it plays for Mount Vernon Nazarene out of Ohio. So those are your leaders in points per game. And so obviously, those are some pretty good stats. That is for sure, out of those players. And of course, and you look at just how competitive the league is, and we're going to take a look at the current standings in women's basketball. And we are going to start. I'm going to do something a little bit differently. I'm going to go from the bottom to the top, beginning with the current last place team, going all the way up to the top, which is the team that is leading the Crossroads League standing. So we are going to begin at the very bottom. Currently in 10th position in the Crossroads League, Taylor University out of Indiana. They are 5-11 overall, 0-6 in the Crossroads League. They have lost 4 straight games. They are trying for their first conference win on Saturday, when they will be hosting Goshen College at home in Upland, Indiana. And of course, speaking of Goshen College, they upset Spring Arbor University last night. So, and Goshen, they're currently sitting in 8th place in the Crossroads League. But before I talk more about them, currently sitting in 9th place at 7-8 overall. 1-5 in the Crossroads League is Bethel University out of Mishawaka, Indiana. They have lost 2 straight games. They're coming off of a loss against Marion University last night. Marion, of course, ranked number 15th currently in the country. And Bethel struggled mightily in that game last night. So Bethel currently 1 game out of the playoffs right now. And of course, Taylor 2 games out of a playoff spot right now. And then if you really want to this is just absolutely amazing. And this is just, and really, I've been following the Crossroads League pretty closely since the 2019/20 year. This is the most competitive I have seen the Crossroads League ever in the years that I have been following along with them. We have a 3-way tie. And again, this is Crossroads League NAIA women's basketball, in case you haven't heard that yet. But this is just absolutely amazing. A 3-way tie for 6th, 7th, and 8th in conference standings with 12 games left to play in the regular season. Currently sitting in 8th place is Goshen College out of Goshen, Indiana. They are 2-4 in conference, getting a huge win last night against Spring Arbor at home in Goshen. And Goshen's other Crossroads League win came on the road at Mount Vernon Nazarene Wednesday night, December 4th. Goshen came back in that game, ended the game on a 20-2 run, which was really, really impressive. And for Goshen, they are now 8-7 overall. They are 5-2 in the Ruth Gunden Gymnasium compared to 3-5 on the road. So obviously getting home court advantage is very, very important, not just for Goshen themselves, but for everybody else in the Crossroads League. Goshen sitting in a 3-way tie for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Goshen, of course, currently sitting in 8th place because of Huntington out of Huntington, Indiana, having a better overall record right now. Huntington has not played Goshen yet this year, and Grace played Goshen a couple of games ago. Grace won that game easily, so Grace does currently hold the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Maple Leafs. So that is why Goshen is 8th, Huntington is 7th, and Grace is 6th. The Huntington Foresters, they've had a really good year, and I know their record doesn't indicate that as of now, but Huntington has played really, really good competitive basketball. And in non-conference play, they upset then number 7, University of the Cumberlands, 90-84. Cumberlands at the time was ranked 7th in the country, and that was a really, really good win for Huntington. And after that, they did lose to IU Northwest, receiving votes at the time, but only lost to them by not that many. I believe it was under 10 points, so a really, really good effort in that game, and that really allowed Huntington to build their confidence level going into the game against number 2 Indiana Wesleyan back on November 20th in Platt Arena. And Huntington had a really, really good chance of winning that game. Of course, they fell on a heartbreaker, 81-79. Indiana Wesleyan hitting free throws late. And then Huntington had a chance to tie the game on 3 free throws and send the game into overtime. But sophomore guard Annika Nelson missed the first free throw, made the second, intentionally missed the third, but had a lane violation penalty. So that was the difference in that game. But for Huntington, and then Huntington on December 4th went to number 11 St. Francis, and they were right with St. Francis 3 out of the 4 quarters. Huntington, though, had a very rough start to the third quarter, had 4 straight turnovers, and St. Francis scored on all 4 of those following possessions to put the game away. So Huntington, they played really, really well with St. Francis, and then, of course, coming out of the conference break, they went to Marion on Saturday and lost that game. And they were right with Marion for the first half, had a rough third quarter, much like the road St. Francis game that I just mentioned back on December 4th. And Huntington, of course, that was the difference in the Marion road game, losing that one as well. But then Huntington was able to bounce back and get a big win against Grace College last night, 79-65, behind sophomore guard Bailey Kellum's season high of 28 points. And you talk about one heck of a player, and Bailey is definitely that. And I was very, very impressed watching her play last year in Platt Arena against Indiana Wesleyan when she scored 30 points in that game. And of course, Huntington was up 18 points a couple of times. Iowa, of course, came back and won that game in really dramatic fashion. Lily Frazier was a junior last year. She led that comeback in that game for Indiana Wesleyan to win 77-70. But I tell you what, Bailey Kellum is really, really impressive for Huntington, and that was an excellent pickup for head coach Darby Maggard. And Bailey is she's playing outstanding basketball. She played great last year. She was the Crossroads League Freshman of the Year, so that was really, really cool to see her being honored in that way. And then, of course, this year, she's picking up right where she left off. And granted, she's had up and down games, which all players do. But I'm really, really excited to see what she'll do the rest of her sophomore season in a Huntington University uniform. Excuse me. And then, of course, I talked about earlier, Grace College, 2-4 now in conference, also 9-7 overall. Grace started out 0-3 in conference. They started out of the gate with Marion and Indiana Wesleyan, lost both of those games. But since then, Grace has found a little bit of a rhythm. And they played They played Arizona Christian and Embry-Riddle over in Arizona over Christmas break and lost both of those games. But they played pretty tight with those two teams, and that allowed them momentum going into the second half of conference play. Grace 5-1 at home. Their only home loss coming to number 15 Marion back on November 20th during the Crossroads League opener. And currently sitting in 5th place is Mount Vernon Nazarene out of Ohio. Mount Vernon was projected 8th in preseason. They're currently sitting 5th, and they have just had a stellar year behind freshman Serenity Johnson. I talked about her earlier, and Teresa Maggio talked about her earlier as well. They are having a fabulous start to their campaign. They went 9-19 1 year ago, and they're currently sitting 10-5 right now. So they have eclipsed their most wins in 2 seasons. So very well deserved for head coach Amanda Short and that team. They are 5-1 at home. Their only home loss coming to Goshen back on December 4th. So Mount Vernon's got a huge game on Saturday against number 2 Indiana Wesleyan, who is undefeated, 16-0 in overall and 6-0 in conference play. Indiana Wesleyan off to their best start since the 2012/2013 season when they started 20-0. So, and head coach Ethan Whaley just picked up his 200th career win last night in their 81-48 victory over the Taylor University Trojans. And Coach Whaley's in his 8th season. He's now 105-24 in Crossroads League play, which is absolutely amazing and so very well deserved. And I will talk more about them in a minute. Mount Vernon Nazarene 3-3 now in conference play. They lost last night to St. Francis. Mount Vernon had a very rough first quarter, but outside of that, Mount Vernon was with St. Francis every step of the way. So obviously, if they hadn't had the rough start in the first quarter, Maybe it would have been a different result. We don't know. But still, Mount Vernon sitting in a very good position for potentially a top 4 spot, as they are tied with Spring Arbor. Spring Arbor, of course, holding the head-to-head tiebreaker right now. Spring Arbor 10-6. Overall, 3-3 in the Crossroads League. They are a perfect 6-0 at home, and they return home on Saturday to host Huntington. So a very, very important game there as well for Spring Arbor, of course, led by fifth-year senior Alana Nelson, who has played absolutely amazing. She played great last year and is playing great as well this year. And then, of course, sitting in third place, number 11, University of St. Francis, 15-1 overall. They got out to a 14-0 start, and their only loss coming to Indiana Wesleyan, and that was one heck of a battle in the Huntsville Athletics Center this past Saturday. Indiana Wesleyan winning that game 59-54. Just a tremendous defensive effort against an extremely, extremely good St. Francis basketball team. Jay Nutley, the senior from Madison, Indiana, leading the way for Indiana Wesleyan in that game, and hit 2 clutch free throws in the last 5 seconds to make it a 2-possession game. And then, of course, St. Francis bouncing back, beating Mount Vernon Nazarene last night. Marion currently sitting 13-3 overall. The thing for Marion is Marion has really struggled in the month of December. They lost to number 10 Georgetown on the road. Then they lost to Florida Memorial, an unranked team. So Marion, we don't now. The next polls come out next Wednesday morning, so it's going to be interesting to see where everybody sits in terms of that. And of course, I'll be in my next video. I'll be talking about the men's Crossroads League basketball, and that really is going to be a fabulous video and a lot to dive into and talk about with that. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel to get notified on that. And then, of course, I hope to do some weekly recap videos moving forward. I'm hoping eventually to maybe start a podcast, but at least for the time being, record these YouTube videos, give you a recap of what's been going on in the Crossroads League after every game. And so that's obviously, I'm sure, going to be, at least I hope it's going to be helpful and useful to you as well. So and of course, then again, I also will hope to do maybe some Zoom interviews with some players and coaches. So if you would be interested in doing that, feel free to subscribe to my channel, or you can message me on social media if you would be interested in doing that. And you can find me on Instagram at mharden24. That's all lowercase letters. You can also find me on Twitter at MattJHarden. You can private message me there, or you can message me on Facebook as well. There's a lot of avenues that you can message me on if you would be interested in doing some Zoom interviews. I would love to do them. Talk with you about, talk with not just players but coaches about just how competitive the Crossroads League is this year. Maybe and also talk about at the past school that you may have played at or coached at, how that competition level has changed, or how that competition level is different from the current competition level in the Crossroads League. I would love to dive into that. So you feel free to message me on social media, or like I said, message me on social media if you would be interested in doing that. I would be more than happy and blessed to talk with you in more specific detail about that. And then I talked about Marion, 6-0 in conference play, number 15 in the country. They are a perfect 9-0 at home. And this is going to be a really, really good game on Saturday. They will host number 11 St. Francis. St. Francis is undefeated on the road. Marion is undefeated at home, so that game should be interesting. And last but not least, Indiana Wesleyan, ranked 2nd in the country. They are off to their best start in 12 seasons. 16-0 right now, 6-0 in the Crossroads League, coming off of a great win last night against Taylor, 81-48, and very quickly. And of course, in that game, led by Izzy Reed, the senior from Greenwood, Indiana, and Izzy Reed played absolutely amazing. Of course, Jay Nutley, the senior from Madison, Indiana, collected her 500th career rebound, so congratulations to her. And Lily Frazier went a perfect 6 of 6 from the line. The senior guard from Winamac, Indiana, is 37 points away from 2,000 career points. And the last IWU player to hit that milestone was Julie Howarth, the all-time IWU great who played from 2007 until 2011. So absolutely amazing stuff there for Lily Frazier. Hopefully she'll be able to keep going on that. as well. And of course, she's going to be in the record books in terms of several different categories after graduation in May. So that's going to be interesting to see where that plays out as well. So for Indiana Wesleyan, they've had a lot of good wins this year. I mean, they beat IU Kokomo 100-52, beat Calumet out of Indiana 109-28, beat St. Xavier out of Illinois 89-60, beat Aquinas out of Michigan. Remember, Aquinas, Cornerstone, Indiana Tech, they all play in the WAC conference. And IU beat Aquinas 82-50, beat Cornerstone 101-46, beat then number 12 Indiana Tech 84-61, beat Receiving Votes IU Northwest 89-75, beat Huntington 81-79 in Platt Arena on November 20th. I talked about that game a little bit earlier. That was a fabulous, fabulous finish there. Beat Grace at home 87-58, not really upset, but got a huge win against then number 8 Rio Grande 101-77, beat Bethel on the road 75-46, beat Spring Arbor at home December 7th in what was truly a defensive battle 69-59, beat College of St. Mary out of Nebraska in Hawaii for the Hoops in Hawaii Classic 91-48, beat Hastings 73-67 in the second game in Hawaii. And that was a big game for Indiana Wesleyan because they struggled offensively in that game. Hastings plays in the GPAC Athletic Conference. Of course, that's a really tough conference. Has Dakota State, Dakota Wesleyan, Northwestern out of Iowa is in that conference, as well as Dordt. And Dordt out of Iowa, they are currently the number 1 team in the country and also undefeated last I saw. So again, Dordt and Indiana Wesleyan really the 2 best teams. And then, of course, I talked about IU beating St. Francis on the road Saturday 59-54, and then beating Taylor on the road in Upland 81-48. The remaining schedule this month for Indiana Wesleyan, they're at Mount Vernon Nazarene Saturday at 1, return home against Goshen next Wednesday at 5 p.m., then have it the next big test at Marion in Indianapolis 1 week from Saturday at 1 o'clock. And that's a big game for Indiana Wesleyan as they are trying to get their first win in Indianapolis in the regular season in at least 8 to 9 years. Then hosting Huntington in what should be another really good game on the 25th, 1 p.m., and then going to Winona Lake to play Grace on the road January 29th at 5:30. So obviously there is a lot to talk about there, and it should be interesting to see how everything plays out. And real quick, other games happening Saturday. Goshen will be at Taylor. Bethel will be at Grace. St. Francis will be at Marion. Huntington will be up at Spring Arbor. And Indiana Wesleyan will be in Mount Vernon, Ohio, I should say, at Mount Vernon Nazarene. So a lot of really good games coming up on Saturday, and you can watch all of them. Just go to crossroadsleague.com and click on the live stream links or the live stats link to get you all the information that you need. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And again, if you would be if you enjoyed today's content and would like me to do these videos more often, please either like or subscribe to my channel. And again, if you are a player or a coach that would be interested in doing a Zoom interview with me to talk about your playing career, about your coaching career, just how the competition level is different, or how the competition level has changed from your previous school to your current school, I would be more than glad to chat with you about that. So again, feel free to message me on social media if you would be interested in doing that. Of course, again, Instagram, mharden24, all in lowercase, on Twitter, at MattJHarden, and you can also message me on Facebook Messenger as well if you would be interested in doing that. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be more than likely recording another video tomorrow talking about the men's side of things in terms of Crossroads League basketball. You don't want to miss that. There's a lot to dive in on that, a lot of great teams on the men's side as well, and again, the way the league, and this again, the men's side is super competitive again this year. I hope you will tune in tomorrow as well. Make sure to like or subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and have a blessed rest of your weekend.